Hi guys, Emilia Romagna in Imola is here and looks like it's going to be a 4-way to 5-way battle. As you can see, some teams really springing up some surprises and showing us how vibrant and how good they can be. Now we saw Ferrari really showing their hands, but the McLaren still looks like the car to beat. But the Mercedes upgrades seems to work, showing pure pace, pure performance, and how they can bring the fight up to the McLaren. Mercedes brought upgrades, Sauber brought upgrades, and we can see how the upgrades really transfer some potentials on the track. With Mercedes upgrade, you can see George Russell is really flying. He's just out there to take the fight to the McLaren. Other teams like the Alpine are looking very fast. Some great pace for Pierre Gasly. Colapinto just joined the team. He still has a lot to learn. He still has like 2-3 races to get into his groove. Lewis Hamilton looks better in the FP1 as he was churning some good times, giving the top guys a run for their money because he looks so feisty in the way he is running the car. His teammate Charles Leclerc is having some difficulties in his helmet because his helmet was just moving under high speed, and that could really easily cause some strangulation. Maybe that really defined his timing, but in FP2, FP3 we would see the relative times of how these guys would transform the pace. The McLaren, they are still there to lead on the time and show everybody that they are the team to beat. The Sauber brought some upgrades also, and they look like a team that are on a mission. You can see Bortoleto in this FP1 leading the rookies. The Williams still look like a team challenging the top guys. With the Alpines showing some great and decent pace, we can see how the race is really transforming. The Racing Bulls are not giving us some good pace, but I believe most of these guys will come up during the qualifying and the main race. But like I said, the Williams are not here to grieve for anybody. They are here to fight. And the Williams, if they are going at this pace, possibly if they have a good car next year, they will be back in the top 4. But looking at Max Verstappen's pace, he really struggled all through with the upgrades that they brought. They brought new side pods, engine cover, floor, some bits from the rear, and we can still see him struggling. We saw his teammate also struggling, but Max Verstappen was struggling more. But possibly Max Verstappen will come out during the qualifying and during the main race because he has always shown that he's a formidable character and he's not just in to play. He always brings the fighting. I think Ferrari only brought the rear brake cooling ducts that they are testing. They believe that should transform the aerodynamics if they can cool their tire more. But going to FP2, let's see how the drivers fare. In FP2, we might see some good qualifying pace and some good race runs. Most people ran on the new tires on the board. That's the new CC, the softest tire in the Pirelli brand, and we can see how the tires perform. We might be having 2 stops, but let's see how this transcends into main racing. Catch you guys in FP2. Yeah, the FP2, you see a lot of teams running strategies, the long run pace. We can see what it looks like and the teams that are looking solid on their long run. The McLaren looks so balanced on all their simulations. In the long runs, they are balanced. In the qualifying, they are the fastest. Though Pierre Gasly is throwing some crazy times in, as in Pierre Gasly's third. P3 in the second session looks amazing. It's crazy. Though I know some other teams would have some upgrades that would speak, but that time Pierre Gasly churned in is out of this world. And the Mercedes are not backing out with their upgrades. They are looking fast. The RBs are using different front wings. The upgrades are looking sharp, but they are still struggling with the upgrades. Coming to P2, that's the practice 2, we saw that it was a much better session for Max Verstappen and his teammate. Tsunoda looks pretty cool, though he's using a different front wing specification from his teammate Max Verstappen. The Alpines, Colapinto doing a good job, better than FP1. I think he's still learning. Might take him 2-3 races to gel into the thing, but that Alpine looks troublesome and is like a car that is bringing trouble to the top of the grid, just like the Williams are doing. The Williams are doing a terrific job to battle the top teams. They don't want to stay in their comfort zone. Where is their comfort zone? They battle for the rest of the points. They don't want to stay there. They want to fight for big points. The Ferrari are the team that are on the edge of being slipped out because they are still struggling. Lewis Hamilton struggled all through the P2. His teammate Charles Leclerc struggled, especially with the brakes. They are really struggling with the brakes. I think the upgrades they brought sounds like an upgrade that is just for tire, not an upgrade that would change the whole course of the car. Looking at Lewis Hamilton turn 11 and turn 14, he is losing the rear. Though his teammate is also losing the rear, but he is losing more of the rear, I think, because he brakes late, the way he drives the car. The Mercedes looks much more impressive, but in FP2, they were not as impressive as they were in FP1. Now, how will the whole grid pan out tomorrow in the qualifying and on Sunday in the race. From what I'm looking at, I think the McLarens are still favorites for the qualifying and for the race. Probably the Mercedes and the Red Bull will fight themselves to get the remaining point, but Ferrari will be fighting in the midfield, because I think Ferrari is becoming a midfield team. Ferrari will be fighting in the midfield with the likes of Williams and Alpine, because that is the new midfield now. Aside from those three teams, then we look at the remaining of the packs. So we have the top teams, which is now McLaren, which is in the lead. Then the Mercedes and the Red Bull are toggling it out like GG. The midfield, Ferrari, Williams, and Alpine. Now, as we had the red flag ending the first practice by Bortoleto, we had the red flag ending the FP2 by Isaac Hajar. With Red Bull saying they have brought their own design of the dust cover, I think they might have an opportunity. They can cool their tire better and not destroy their tires, so there might be opportunities, but it's still a struggle for Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. For Ferrari fans, you might have to riot. Maybe they will change the car. But it's not looking good for Ferrari presently. Up until FP3 and the qualifying tomorrow. I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.